we got off air on Wednesday, and then about half an hour later, another player was announced as committing to Penn State. We'll get to him in a second. Penn State in the portal. Players leaving. Caden Mingo is committed to Baylor per his agency, and Freddie DeLeon is committed to Georgia.
Yep.
So the two are now officially gone. Then you've got coming on in, we've already discussed Jay Rodgers from Central Connecticut, the point guard, and Brant Byers, the three-point shooter from wing from Miami of Ohio. Penn State has also now reportedly brought in Roberts Blums, the shooting guard from Davidson. He also, spoiler alert, 40-plus point three-point shooter. As we said multiple times, and I'll say again here on the show, what was Penn State going to bring on in? Age and three-point shooting.
Yep.
What has Penn State brought in? Age, experience, and three-point shooting.
Yes, exactly. Look, okay. This is they've set this. They want to get older, and they need shooters. Well, hey, if you're older and shooters, and you got to get it to the next part from Mike and Brent Scott and Taylor Battle and Clay Connors, and obviously starting in the middle of June to get this all to mesh together, because they're not done. I told you. I also told you the other day, that there was going to be more, and it was going to happen fast. Well, right after the show, they got another guy.
Immediately afterwards, I was like, Steve knew, and he didn't say a word.
Right. But I'd say there's going to be one more for sure, and the door might be open for two, but it's got to be the right person. Okay, one for sure. Maybe one more. Okay, and so one or two. Same story. You had to get a point guard. You knew it. They did that. All right. They need shooters, wings.
They got them.
And guess what you do when you have good outside shooting? It makes your center more effective. He now has more space. Your center is already a good passer out of the post. He may not be like Uday Mara, who's an elite passer out of the post.
It also means...
But Jurich is a good passer out of the post.
It also means if you're someone like... I have not watched a lot of Rodgers' game, but let's say he is really good at driving the ball.
No, he drives.
What does it mean?
He drives the ball. He has a good step back.
But it means there's more space for him to drive because defenders are pulled out of position. They're instead of putting everyone in the middle, there's way more room to operate.
He's also very good at being a pass first guy when he needs to be, which helps. If you got guys that can shoot, his job is to find those people.
What is the easiest move? Is a drive and kick. And what does a kick do? All of a sudden, it pulls a defense out of rotation, and you kick it a couple more times, and someone's wide open for a shot. It happens all the time.
But again, it's going to make your center more effective. He's going to get more one-on-one coverage because can I commit a second guy?
When I've got two 40% shooters sitting there in either wing waiting for it.
Right. Can I commit a second guy when these guys are on the floor? It spreads the floor out. All right. Now, does this mean that you're okay? Guess what? Okay, now you go about your business and get the last guy or two, which I think is going to happen much sooner than later. I'll leave it at that. And then you go from there. Hey, you have your team. You needed shooters. You needed some size. You needed a point guard. They've done that. Now, do they have more money to work with this year? Yes. Are they up to the average of the conference? No. But at least they have more money to work with this year, which has made a difference. That's one of the reasons why you could not commit the money to a single player, because that money that you would have committed to a single player could have been the equivalent of 3 starters. And when you're operating with a little bit different budget, again, I go back to the quarterback analogy I made when all this came down with Caden Mingo. Why, on a pro level, did Brett Veach and Patrick Mahomes agree to a restructured contract? Because it gave Kansas City more money to get players. Because Patrick Mahomes, because of the way the original contract was, it's actually the second the first restructuring, right? Gave them initial relief, but of course was backloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the backloading now means so much money's going to a player.
It means you can't pay
everyone else. And it was
the
same story with Josh Allen in Buffalo, right? They redid Josh Allen's contract. Why? So they could then have the ability to get more players around him instead of having in the NFL. If you're going 15% of your money going to your quarterback,
mm-hmm.
and this has been a problem with the wide receiver part lately too, because the combo is putting a big percentage into 2 players out of 53. You have to fill the rest of the roster, and you can't do it at the bargain basement level. When you have a player in college basketball that could potentially command 30%, maybe a third of what you have to offer, what do you have left for the other 11 or 12 spots? When you're limited as to what what your numbers can be based on what you have more money available, but you can't put it into a guy, because putting into a guy then strips away what you can get in other positions. Right? And again, you thought you had, like, if the original numbers agreed to, you're fine. When higher demands came in, it then changed the dynamic. Like, wait a minute, like that percentage is so high now. Can we get other players? We'll get other players, but like instead of the players we really think can win for us,
can we just get somebody in the door?
Right. I mean, and that's why I talk about, and I realize you're in a cap situation in the NFL. Well, you're also in a sort of cap situation individually based on your numbers.
You only get so much.
Right. I mean, so the numbers at Illinois are off the charts, but there's also like it may be 15 to 18 million, but there's still a spending limit there. And you asked earlier, how high can it go? Remember, every time you do these things, you're not making Kyle F. a one-time donation.
No.
They're going to need you to make the donation again next year.
And the year afterwards.
And they're going to need you to make the donation, and probably at a higher level the year after that. See, that's one of the issues with the NIL part, is that it's not a one-time donation. Hey, I'm going to endow the program.
It is a yearly renewal.
Yes, and it's a renewal that they would like to see more out of you in the next year. And this goes, okay, there's money all over the place right now.
Yeah.
Right, and I realize you've come from a family of oil executives, so you have you have the last few weeks have had unlimited funds.
It sounds like, you know what? NIL sounds like Netflix. Just next year, more expensive.
Right. More expensive, and not only that, I forgot to knock it off my cable. I don't need it right now. Thanks for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones. Catch the latest from me on the 7 Mountain Sports YouTube page. Find clips of the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by searching up 7 Mountain Sports.